John has set the stage, giving you a sense of the startup nation. What I want to give you is a sense for the platform that enables you to access this. So what we've created is a professional and flexible access to the venture category. But I think it's important to put the venture category in an historical macro capital markets context. If you look back actually over 40 years and the digital revolution, which continues, there's actually something that's created more value than that. What that is the decline in yields. Back in the early 80s, you had in the US 15% risk-free interest rates. And we went through an historic bull market in bonds, which saw yields decline. And why that creates so much value is because of multiple expansion. We're now in a world where yields are near zero in almost every major economy. And there aren't many alternatives to where you can put your capital to create value. And that makes growth more important than ever. And that's really what our platform is all about. So I'm going to try to touch on 4 themes I'd like you to come away with. One is how global our platform is, underscoring the point John made about the diversification, the curation we go through, and how it's flexible and empowering. One size does not fit all. First, a global look at OurCrowd. We are truly around the world. Because as John said, 50,000 plus accredited investors in 180 countries, and we have 13 OurCrowd offices on 5 continents. This was underscoring the picture that John provided earlier of just how diversified we are. Diversification is really critical as an investor. It's easy to get excited about an area, but valuations can get high and you can have a poor outcome. In fact, we're often asked, what have we not done? Because we seem so broad. There is one area we're not, if you see in this picture, which is cryptocurrency. We haven't yet found our comfort zone in investing in that, but pretty much every other major growth venture area you'll see OurCrowd active in. Facts and figures. At the bottom, you see our committed funds is across 1.4 billion, the 50,000 number again. But at the top, you see the curation process we go through. Given the breadth of our platform, we are literally seeing about 200 potential investments a month. About 10% we'll dive into, and then about 10 to 15% of those, so call it 1.5% roughly, of the companies we see, will make it to our investment committee and then we'll decide to invest in. It's only after we've decided at the GP level to invest in the company do we offer it through our global network of investors. In terms of our diligence process, none of these criteria probably surprise you. They're all very important. We look at the backgrounds of people, large addressable market, simple value proposition, differentiation versus other solutions. Just because something is technologically innovative doesn't mean it's going to be a good business. If there's 5 other companies doing the same thing, it's got to be differentiated from the competition. We rarely do things that are seed level, although we have incubators that give us a view onto truly early stage activity. So we're already looking for traction and some commercial acceptance of the product or service. And then finally, good co-sponsorship is very important. Having other investors, whether it be other leading venture firms, well-known angels, or multinational corporations investing alongside of us. I will emphasize one element on people. While it's good to be looking for serial entrepreneurs, we don't limit ourselves to those. We will look deeply in the backgrounds, of course, of anybody we're thinking to back. But as I like to point out, if you look at, there's something that Facebook, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, and Google, the top 5 market cap companies in the world, have in common, which is that they're first-time entrepreneurs. So we do not screen out someone because they haven't built a company before. In terms of what the platform looks like and this empowerment theme that we drive home, we try to bring the best of both worlds, if you will, of the classic venture capital fund business to individual investing, angel investing that many do. So you look along these parameters on the left: access, due diligence, legal rights, capital commitment, fees, and choice. We believe we are providing all of these: access to top deal flow, professional due diligence, the curation I described. We deal with the morass and complexity of the legal side of non-public investing. We invest on institutional terms, and we enable our investors to invest in institutional terms and have those rights that protect the investor. The capital commitment is much lower to get involved with us. We, of course, encourage large capital commitment, but getting involved doesn't require a huge amount initially. Our fees are lower than VC, and then this point about choice. And let me elaborate on that a little bit. We provide flexibility. You can invest on a deal-by-deal basis through selecting individual startups. You can have an account which has a reserve position for anything we bring and decide what to opt out, the so-called portfolio reserve. Or you can invest in one of our funds and have diversification from day one across the broad range of sectors in which we invest. And then finally, in terms of empowerment, we want to empower you as an investor to actually help the companies. This is part of the strength of this global platform. So we have a feature on our platform that we continue to build, we call the introductions feature. It's part of our networking platform, where we're not just reaching out to our global investors to provide capital, but also to provide introductions. So you see here a screenshot from some of the companies that we're invested in, where they reach out to our global investor base of 50,000 plus, looking for introductions to open doors. We recognize that you as sophisticated investors are also people with very powerful networks. And this is a way of helping your companies you may be invested in or other companies on the platform. And as you see at the bottom, if a company wants to retain its confidentiality, the introduction request looks like it's coming from OurCrowd. And then final point, just in terms of the team behind all of this, you see John on the top left. I'm the guy on the top right. I'm the one person not based in Israel, but this is a very international group. We have natives of 6 different countries in our senior management team here.